newspaper. Let them know you care. Very smart move, Thomas. But that's as far as I would go with this if I were you.
It's saying recording error.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Paradigm shift in the podcast. Yo, way back then, they was giving us game about what's going on in the media with the mad human drama and these actors they call politicians, people who's supposed to be fixing and solving the issues we face as American citizens. But just like in that movie, behind the scenes, they don't give a freak about nobody. All right. It's brother Maurice Penington, the master student, the Morris master student. And today I got the Grand Governor, Richard Neal Bay, the indigenous realist, my man Alan Calhoun here. And today we'll be talking about this political witchcraft. Islam, Islam. What's up with the Moors?
Islam, praise be to Allah and honor to his prophet. But you know something that's outstanding, brother, before we even get into it? Our brother name. You know, it baffles one when they see Moorish Americans use Aboriginal, indigenous, and terms like that. We've been using those terms. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed.
Nothing new.
Indeed.
Right. That's right.
So definitely respect.
Yeah, the indigenous, just like me and the Grand Governor talked about last week. We are the Atlanteans. We are the original Americans. We are the original man here on the planet that made manifest. If you really want to get deep, So yeah, that's the indigenous realist. What's up, realist?
Peace, Islam to the brothers, man. I hope y'all can hear my audio clear. I'm not by the Wi-Fi, but I'm close enough. I'm right outside the box outside. But it's a pleasure to be on here with y'all, and I'm ready to build. Most definitely. All honors to the Honorable Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, the chief.
Right.
I'm already. He said the chief.
Right.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Hey, so check this out, right? I just made a video the other day because I was on my way to school and I'm listening to the news. And when I'm listening, listen, it seems like the entire news is just overwhelmingly about this guy, Donald Trump, right? Like Donald Trump is all over the news. He's on everybody's tip of every tongue. Every so-called pundit got Donald Trump on the tip of their tongue right now. I'm sitting here saying to myself, this Joker got the worst criminal record of anybody I know. I mean, he just got found guilty of 30 plus felonies. That means that his record is worse than all of our records combined. But he's still the most popular man in America. Then, to top it all off, the Joker done raised like $140-some million to his campaign as president. So not only is the poor, the ignorant people, that's how we think about it. We think, well, those ones who support these individuals, they are the trash. They are the racists. They are the ones who, at the bottom of the totem pole. Wait, there's 100-something million. Where they got it from? That ain't coming from the bottom of the totem pole, y'all. That's coming from the top. I mean, that's 100-something million in 1 month. In 1 month. Wow. Cast a spell on these people, man. I need somebody to show and prove to me that this Joker right here ain't demonstrating witchcraft. Exactly. Crickets. Crickets, because he cast a spell, but he ain't the only one. He is not the only one. All these jokers is casting spells, y'all. We set up in that prison, man. I sat in the federal prison. Matter of fact, all of us that spend time in federal prison. And we know even inside of the federal prison where people is locked up, for the most part, they holding you on the charges that ain't even got nothing to do with criminality. It's commercial in the first place. The Grand Governor is always exposing it. Always. Every chance she get, communicating to the people that they is locking our young people up, they locking most of our men up for these commercial charges. And nobody is even, thinking to do anything about it because we understand it's witchcraft. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God. And to some people, the word is God. So if an individual becomes agent and communicating and using words, then this person right here is the weaver of spells, the master magician, the God, the Lord of the land over all these people, man. And we bear witness to it right now today. Right now today with these actors they call it politics. Islam brand governance. How you doing? The Sheikah K Glavio just came on and joined us. How you doing, sister?
Islam, 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 all praises due to Allah, honors to His holy divine prophet, Noble Ali, honors to each and every one of you on the panel. Peace to the Paradigm Shifting Podcast. Islam. Peace to the chat.
Right.
Definitely, a lot of times we don't realize that most of these crimes that is quote unquote committed are commercial crimes. A while back, the IRS started to put out that all you had to do was just file the taxes on it. And with that, I yield.
It's what hold on. You can't just yield like that. You can't just yield
You
like that.
caught that at the end,
Come
huh?
back.
You
Come
caught that.
back. Well, remember, the purpose of this podcast is to shift the paradigm.
And she
All right?
shifted, then she
Bring
dropped the
that
mic and
back.
walked out.
Islam.
Come back, Sheikah. Do that again.
Islam, yeah.
Come back. Do that again.
All you gotta do is just file the taxes on it. Especially if you in the feds, you look at your federal charges. I guarantee you, it's gonna be under Title 26, right? Because these are tax issues. One thing about the so-called government is they're gonna get their money, and you're either gonna pay with it
That's right.
via federal debt notes, and your body as surety, or your body as surety. Either way, they're gonna get their taxes up out of you. So
Right.
definitely, these are services that we offer, at Maxim Enterprises LLC. So if you're interested, definitely reach out to us. We're at www.ameximentllc.com, and we'll see what we can do to be able to assist you so that you can learn how to assess these tax matters. Islam, I yield.
Islam also put it in the
Islam.
chat.
You know something that Islam. You know something I want to share with the people too. This because I spent so much time in there, right? In this one, Crip, and I was just like, what's the purpose? Like, how can there be a benefit? People say, oh, they lock you up for the money, and they talk about like, nah, that's not. Yeah. The prison system in the United States of America, the employees of the prison system in the United States of America make up a very large portion, a percentage of the class of the United States of America. So this is what makes the prison system so important to the government. When I first went in, you had the majority of the prison guards were Desert Storm veterans. So like they had drafted all of these people, sent them off the war, and then when the war was over, they was like, okay, how we going to employ these people? What we going to do with them all now? So in the prisons, like all these boys, the Polar, Louisiana, Beaumont, Texas, McCreary, Kentucky, Big Sandy. That's his handwork. He built those. Everybody was calling this joke the so-called first black president. That ridiculousness. I mean, he wanted, yeah.
You were breaking up.
Yeah. Okay. But oh yeah. I was just talking about this. This prison system making up such a large portion of the middle class employees. This is where they are. This is where they employed at. You got to think everybody who works for the prison system is overpaid. If you're a nurse, if you're a nurse in prison, hardly doing anything. You're making way more money than the nurse who's at the hospital who can't hardly get no sleep because she got lives to save all day long, working 16 hours a day, sometimes even more. You know, psychologists in the United States of America, the majority of the people who need psychological help, they can't even afford it. So the only place for psychologists really to go and be employed is in the system where they could be paid by the government. So there is definitely a cause for this prison system, and then you got these politicians whose job it done became to keep these prisons filled up. Yeah. So it don't matter if it's a commercial, no matter what it is, see, whatever they can do to get jokers inside of themselves and on the prison, they gonna do. They gonna.
Islam, I agree. Another thing is
with that being the case,
the prison, especially the federal prison system, was developed to be able to put those who are still able to be in the labor force to give them jobs. So that's really what the prisons are set up for. The prison really is set up for those who still are able to work. However, they commit what they consider to be, vice, commercial crimes, to be able to put them in a location where they can pay them pennies on a dollar and put them to work. Now, another thing is when you look at that and you look at the labor force, right? 1865, 1865, everything became unionized. So one of the things that the federal prisoners don't realize is that they're actually a part of a union. And this is the reason why this is the Unicorn, right? This is the reason why you receive your meals. This is why you receive medical. This is why you receive, you get to get your religious accommodations, so on and so forth, because you are unionized.
Religious freedom, health,
what's going to really change? Exactly. What's going to really change the federal prison system is for the prisons to actually begin to treat it like a real versus treating it like, okay, we're prisoners and we're just waiting out our sentence. That's what's going to change it.
Right.
Until that change actually happens and it comes, then they'll continue to treat you like an underprivileged prisoner versus a prisoner with actual benefits that's actually benefiting everyone else in society, because at the end of the day, you still are working. You're still a part of the labor force. So because you're part of the labor force, get this, you're supposed to get minimum wage. You're supposed to get minimum wage, even though that they're treating it like you're at what they call a long-term care facility, you're still under a union. So I advise all of the brothers and sisters that's in the federal system to begin to unionize.
Islam, let me show you something, right?
Islam.
Watch this. They got a program now in the feds. Okay, Unicorn, Unicorn was the big thing. They got this new program in the feds now called the PI program. All right. People who work the PI program, Sheikahs, they do get paid minimum wage. Not only do they get paid minimum wage, they charge them rent. They got the PI program in Butler, North Carolina, at FCI2. They over there working in the industry. And let me tell you something, even though they get paid minimum wage, the job that they doing now, $40, $50 an hour if they was out here in the world. And they charging these guys rent. All right. Now I want this where we shift this to. Do y'all understand how bad the drug problem is in prison?
Oh yeah.
The prisons are so full of drugs. You remember the time when people would get locked up and come home clean? Remember in the day when that used to happen? Them days is over. Them days is over.
Right.
Now,
Right.
jokers is going to prison with no drug problem and coming out with because of what you just said, Sheikah. See, they casting this field. They don't want the people in the prison to treat the prison like a university. See, the truth is, that's what it was. When I first got there, while I was walking around the yard game banging and doing all my bull junk, I was seeing home. You look over here, you see the malls over there, Bible study groups. You look over there, you see the nation, you see the Hebrew Israelite. You even seen the Aryan Brotherhood out there with white boys who
Right.
learning whatever it is that they learn. Yeah, they all smoking this K2 and just break it down for me, Mo. They all if they smoking this K2, they
Yes, sir.
they in there ODing on fentanyl like it's like like it's nobody business. This fentanyl everywhere.
Yes, sir.
They put it on paper, they put it on anything. And
Mind
it's
you,
always
let's
in the
throw one in there.
prison.
Look, hey, my brother Maurice, let's throw one in there because I know this is in the state and feds. They give them certain medicine by mouth, right? Those suckers don't take that stuff. They take it and keep it right there on their tongue and bring it right back to the block and sell it. Now you got brothers out here tripped out on the block. And the nurses know that brother didn't take that. But they don't care. They're going to write it off until he stabbed one of them, hurt one of them, or something like that. He cook. But
No, they got
I want to share this too.
the MAC program.
Hey, you was cooking, bro. You was cooking because the title tells us about the political witchcraft. And you started off on Donald Trump. But as you were speaking about Donald Trump, I went back to Woody because Woody is reaching our children. Okay? It's okay for Woody to sit in there and act retarded, slow, and work a deal with the government or the state of Georgia, right? And then if he get out, he gonna make a whole bunch of money again and kill somebody else. Is what he said in the courtroom. Think about how many Woodies we will have in the next 5 to 6 to 10 to 20 years. That character now, that spirit will make legions of Woodies throughout the United States, throughout the world, as you said earlier. Forget just the United States, because we got the CIA behind this. Think I'm lying? Go look up Silent Wars. Read that. Brother OTK read that book to us
I got Silent Wars.
And it took Silent Wars. Okay? But now, look, this is how we cook, y'all. 10 years ago, Asir and his wife did a video, a rap song. It was entitled Secret Wars. But the message is about you and I. How they're trying to kill us in every form and fashion. Woody is here to do that. Little Woody. You see? Donald Trump, that's just something. Look, man, my dad going up to go kick it with Donald Trump and them today at that little concert or whatever he got. That's nothing. But think about how many little Woodies we're going to end up with throughout America. And we can't do nothing with them. A force to be not reckoned with. Islam, how you?
Wow, he said a force to be not reckoned with. They got this program in the prison that it's called the MAC program. Right? So what they do is they give the prisoners dope. Like real talk. They give them dope. They're giving them Suboxone, right? And Suboxone is one of the major addictions in prison right now. That's one of the major things. Guys is in there, they messed up on Suboxone. So they give it to them. Then they give them the strips for 7 days. After they give them the strips, they shoot the glob with Suboxone inside the glob. This glob lasts a month. It releases a small portion of the dope every day so it can get these guys supposedly through the month. is so bad that guys is squeezing the dope back out. I'm talking about it got blood and all this stuff and selling it, and people is buying it and they using it and reusing it. Our people, American people, are under a spell that's so powerful, right? It's so powerful, it is crazy. It is crazy. It's crazy. Indigenous, what's up with the moment, man? What's up with the moment? What do you feel like at? I don't know what that Mo got going on. He ain't even here. Okay, I want to share some. I want to share some with people, right? I read this book called Chasing the Scream. And Chasing the Scream, you hip to it, Mo? Chasing the Scream is about the war on drugs, about how it started and where it's at today. And I found this interview by the author. And so I want to share. I want to share this clip with it. I want to share this clip with the people. Check
The
this
most
out,
influential man no one's ever heard of is a guy called Harry Anslinger. He took over the Department of Prohibition just as alcohol prohibition is ending. He was a government bureaucrat. And he's got this big department full of corrupt agents with nothing really to do. And he invented the modern drug war to keep this department in business. And he was really driven by two really strong hatreds, a hatred of addicts and a hatred of African Americans. And the story you refer to is a story right from his start. When he's 10, or I think it might be 11, he grew up in a place called Altoona in Pennsylvania, rural Pennsylvania, and when drugs were legal. And near where he lived, there was a farmer whose wife was an addict. And one day he went there, and the wife was in a state of distress. She was screaming, and the farmer said, take the horse and cart, go as quick as you can to the pharmacy, buy her some opiates. So he didn't really understand what that meant, but he goes there as quick as he can. He goes in, he buys it, he comes back, he gives it to the wife, he gives the drugs to the wife, she takes them, she recovers. But he remembered this as a profoundly traumatic experience. And I think in a way he was like chasing that scream across the world. He was determined from that point on to physically eradicate these drugs from the world. The tragedy of Harry Anslinger is he created a lot more screams in his turn.
Okay, I want to keep talking about him, but I just want to pick up on something you just said. Before, to turn the century, turn the 20th century, drugs are flowing freely. There's no rules, there's no war on drugs, there's no laws about them. They're just flowing freely.
It's really hard to reconstruct if you want.
Y'all see this? He's driven by two hatreds. A hatred of the drug, but the biggest hatred, y'all, and he found more about it in the book, was his hatred of the so-called African American, the Asiatics in America. It was so bad that this actually testified to the UN. Listen to some of his testimony. Y'all go look it up. Y'all seen this now. I'll play the clip again before the end of the podcast. Go check this joke out. He testified to the UN that the drugs was making the European woman fall in love with the Asiatic man. It was the drugs now. It didn't have nothing to do with the man. It had nothing to do with, her fantasy or what the movie said back in the day, Jungle Fever. It had nothing to do with that. It was the drugs. And then he was talking about how the drug made the Asiatic man. He was talking about cocaine. They had cocaine in the so-called European only water fountains. And they said that we was drinking the cocaine and the drugs couldn't stop us. He went to the UN and turned the whole entire world against drugs because drugs, they weren't illegal. You could go right and get you some OT. You could go and it was all free. And when it was free, here's the catch. They didn't have a drug problem. There wasn't a substance abuse issue in the country when the drug wasn't illegal. And the key thing was this guy was hired to investigate the doctors and to make sure that the doctors were prescribing medicine properly and wasn't prescribing medicine for money. So he realized, because he only had like 2 or 3 employees, and this was the start of the Federal Drug Agency. He realized that he wasn't going to be able to keep his job unless he could figure out a way to convince the rest of the country that they needed more drug enforcement to happen in the country. So he actually created the war on drugs when there was no drug problem, when drugs was not doing anything to hurt the society so far as society's concerned. It was nothing like it is today. Nothing like it is today. And then the crazy thing, I'm gonna play another clip for y'all, right? The craziest thing was the first person who this Joker went after was Billy. Check this out, y'all.
So let me bring Anslinger into this because what evidence did he have then that drug use is going to cause social problems? You say before this there wasn't really a lot of evidence of that on the ground.
It's such an important question because actually, if you'd said to me why were drugs banned, right? I would have assumed it would be because it caused social problems, because they were worried that kids would use drugs or they were worried about addiction. Actually, that's a really minor part of the debate. When I went and looked through his archives and read everything from the time that I could find from the time, it was overwhelmingly a completely different cause that we don't think about now, although it's still very relevant to the drug war. It was founded in a race panic. Harry Anslinger and a huge number of people at the time were convinced African Americans and Chinese Americans were using drugs, forgetting their place and attacking white people. You read the stuff at the time and it is shocking. The official statements like, the cocaine N-word sure is hard to kill. This belief, of course we know that African Americans were angry because they were being treated appallingly. And the way I tell the story in the book mainly is through the story of how Harry Anslinger stalked and helped to kill Billie Holiday. Story that blew me away when I found it out, and I went and interviewed a lot of her friends and tracked down whoever I could find. That in 1939, Billie Holiday stands on stage in New York City and she sings the song Strange Fruit, which a lot of people watching will know is a song against lynching. Her goddaughter Lorraine Feather said to me, you've got to understand how shocking it is to have an African-American woman standing up in front of a white audience singing a song about lynching. Billie Holiday wasn't even allowed to walk through the front door of that hotel. She had to go through the service elevator. And that night, according to her biographer Julia Blackburn, Harry Anslinger's agents say to Billie Holiday, stop singing this song.
Go ahead. Because she was on drugs, right?
She was a heroin addict. She had grown up in Baltimore when it was a segregated city and she wasn't allowed in a lot of places. And she had promised herself she was never going to bow her head to any white man. And the Federal Bureau of Narcotics is very interesting. Around the time that Harry Anslinger finds out Billie Holiday is a heroin addict, he finds out Judy Garland is a heroin addict, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. He tells her to take slightly longer vacations and tells her she's going to be fine. Billie Holiday gets treated very differently. Harry Anslinger hated employing African Americans, but you couldn't really send a white guy into Harlem to stalk Billie Holiday. It'd be kind of obvious. So he employs an African American agent called Jimmy Fletcher, who follows her around for 2 years, stalks her everywhere. Actually, Billie Holiday was so amazing, he fell in love with her. And his whole life, he felt ashamed of what he did. He busts her. She's put on trial. She said the trial was called the United States versus Billie Holiday, and that's how it felt. She's sent to prison. When she gets out, this is the most awful part, there's very few places she can perform because you needed a cabaret performer's license to perform anywhere where alcohol was served, and Anslinger makes sure she doesn't get it. Her friend Yolanda Bavan said to me, what is the cruelest thing you can do to a person? It's to take away the thing they love. Billie Holiday can't sing. You know, she can find very few places. She relapses on addiction. When she's in her early 40s, she collapses. And she's taken to a hospital in New York and they turn her away because she's an addict. She's taken to another hospital. She's convinced that Anslinger's men aren't finished with her. She says to one of her friends, they're going to kill me in there. Don't let them, they're going to kill me.
They're going to kill me in there. Don't let them in. They're going to kill me. Y'all see this crap, man? And this is the reality. Like,
that's how I feel about hospitals.
what you say, shit?
For real, brother. That's how I feel about hospitals for real. We shouldn't be going to their hospitals, right? Because, again, you're still taking their medicine, their science. When our ancient forefathers had a science way before that science. So we got to be careful using their hospitals, their schools. Remember, that's their systems to shut us down and take us out. With that, I yield. Oh, spot.
It's not. I seen the brother Chain Break Islam, what?
Islam.
You got something?
Islam.
Discussion?
Honest to his divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Hey, more when you shared about them wanting to keep us locked up at all costs in any way, shape, or form, and the things that they do, the extents that they go politically to keep the Asiatics of Northwest America, a Mexican, locked up more. I remember my time in the Dismal Crips. It's story time. And it was around the time where Priska and Rauner was going at it. Okay. Now, I'm in the south of the Dismal Crips in the Illinois state. Vienna. The south. Deep south. These is your good old boys. Your good old boys. Your good fellas. Your so-called patriot minded, These conservative minded, so they proclaim to be in the political world. However, when it came down to who they was voting for, Bruce Rauner or Prisker, these individuals who work in that union to keep people locked up, they was voting for Prisker. But they from the deep south, good old boy patriots. But they from the deep south, good old boy conservative patriots. But you vote for Prisker over a Rauner. Allah opened up. He opened my eyes that day more. I said, these people could never be my ally. No matter how cool you are, you're going to vote Prisker over Rauner because Prisker was encouraging locking up more people, encouraging putting in more money in the prison system. Rauner was discouraging locking up people and discouraging keeping people locked up and spending money on the prison system. But they from the deep south, so when you spoke that more, I said, man, this more just touched it for real.
Let me tell
Came
you something
back out.
about the middle class. All right. So in economics, you got the consumer, you got the investor, and you got the saver. Now, what percentage of all income is taken in by citizens of the United States of America that they desire to be spent, saved, invested? It's predetermined, and they shift the arms of the economy to manipulate these three measures of the economy. All right. Now, the investors is the middle class. The middle class is the ones who contribute to their 401ks. The middle class is the ones who contribute to Roth IRAs. These are the ones who are investing because the poor people, they don't have no money left over to invest. They don't have no money to give to the government to borrow now, because this is what you're doing. We're investing these dollars in, and it's just sitting there out of your control. You're not reinvesting in your own ideas. You're not reinvesting in your companies the way business owners, entrepreneurs do. See, as entrepreneurs, you got money, you reinvest. All right, but the middle class are programmed to lend their money to the government. So it's important to solidify this class. Okay, it's very, very important that we solidify this class. And how do you do it? You build prisons all over the place. I was locked up in Oxford, Wisconsin. The entire population of Oxford, Wisconsin is
Bro, I
made up
did
of
time in
prisoners.
Oxford too. Wow.
Talking about when they bring these human warehouses to these rural communities, they uplift the communities economically much,
That's
much
right.
higher than anything else could or would. Because
Most of them
there is a
bone
job
meal control.
in the
That's
prison.
right.
There's a job for them. There's a job for them. Okay? Now, we know this. We teaching it right now. We putting it on right now. Billions of people in the world could tune in today, tomorrow, from now, a year from now, and get this information. We're not the only ones who communicating this stuff. Short communicating this information, I believe a lot better than I can. Now, with that being, I am the government, knowing that it's a freedom of speech. How do I stop people from listening? How do I stop people from acting on their learning when the knowledge has been gained, when they have grasped the knowledge of what's happening to them and who's doing it to them? How do I stop them from doing something about it? And one of the most from being proactive is with this drugs, man. Listen, the, the drug market and drug industry is like Nike. All right. Nike is the largest apparel company in the United States of America because Nike got a piece of clothing or a gym shoe or a sneaker for everybody. I don't care how much money you got, you can get you some Nike. I don't care how much money you got in the United States of America, you can get high. Okay? They got some dope stuff. Now, they got some
Look, can I cook with you?
they got
Can I
natural
cook?
dope. They got dope.
Let me cook with you.
Islamo, you might want to adjust your speed because you was breaking up real bad. So you might need to lower your speed because you were breaking up real bad.
And while you work on that, I want to share with you though. You're hitting right here at home today. I was just talking to a brother. He was on the run. I'll just keep it real. He was on the run. He's like an older brother to myself. Put it this way, he's 63 years of age, okay? But all my life he's been in prison. He come home, he stay out about 2 or 3 years. I think this has been the longest he's been out, and that's 4 years. But anyway, his mother, who was like 80 some years of age, said, you know what? I'm glad he's locked up. He broke his mom's heart, brothers and sisters, right? What are you talking about, Neal Bay? He told his mother the truth. He said, every time I'm in prison, I get more this and that than I get out here. Whatever the drug is he was doing. Okay? So since 88
Yeah.
to 2024, this brother has been in and out of prison. All state prison. And he said there's a high in there he would never, ever get out here in the world. Okay? But for him to tell this 80-some-year-old woman, his mother, who's been riding it out with him for 30, 40 years, at the end of the fight, you going to tell her, you're a dope. She thought that you was safe put up. You see? Not knowing that those brothers in there, just, they tweaked out. You know you don't walk around and you don't see a brother here. Oh, that's a bay. Oh, that's an eel. That brother out in the clouds. He doped up. Or you know what I'm saying? I'm saying this because a lot of people think just because you're in prison, you are safe.
Yes, absolutely.
You are not safe. If you want a woman, you can have a woman. It's going to cost you. If you want whatever your drug might be, you can have it, but it's going to cost you. And they know it's going to cost you. Again, silent wars, secret wars, the CIA, FBI, DEA have been planning and planning for many years, and the game is against us. K2, 1997 is when I was going into the federal system. And like our brother said, you can get K2 on the yard. Just go to the bathroom. Brothers got K2. Instead of the Coca-Cola bottle full, you might get a nice pack. But remember, this K2 is synthetic stuff, and you ain't even supposed to be smoking it. It says it on, it's an incense. These brothers smoking that stuff, and they seeing everything under the sun. And they in prison. So just because our brothers and sisters are in prison does not mean that they are clean. And sometimes when they come home, they get out here, they mad. You know why they mad? Because they got a better drug inside the prison than they get now here. So now they want to kill stuff. Okay? Up that little punk. I'll blow his brains out. Why, bro? Why you want to blow his brains out?
Yeah.
They frustrated. They trying to get back in there and get whatever that is in there. It's not out here. We're not thinking on that level. And we don't have enough people talking about that. Your family is not safe just because they're in prison. If they were getting high out here, 9 out of 10, they're going to get high in there. They do drug busts all the time inside those places. They do a shakedown probably once out of the month. So we got to wake up. And the sad thing, Brother Maurice and those who've been in prison know exactly what I'm saying. Get in there, the 50-year-old is acting like the 30-year-old. All of them high. The 50-year-old man, the 30-year-old man, and the 20-year-old man, and the 18-year-old, all of them high on some type of drug. Somebody doing fentanyl, somebody doing K2, somebody doing this. They all got their drug inside of the federal and state prisons. Now, this is the trick. A lot of it is coming in by the officers. Silent wars, secret wars. Remember, as Brother Maurice just shared with us, Pickneyville is right down the street from me. But if they take that prison away, all of them will be without a job. They farmers. Thank goodness. Right there in Peoria. What's the federal prison up there, Boston? Peoria. Pekin, Illinois. If they take that prison away and the Caterpillar, it ain't too much time for our people to come up there and work for it. See what I'm saying? So we got to start thinking like this, man. Wherever these little small towns be, Pickneyville, Pekin, Menard. Menard is its own township. Nothing but a prison. Probably got outside of the town, you probably have like 1,000, 2,000 citizens. Hospital. Except that, as my wife was sharing the other day, that's where the mo was at. You see? But it's loaded with drugs inside of those places. I've been in there. You can be on the hill. The hill's the medium. There's no lifers on the hill. Man, they getting high in there. I had to beat a couple brothers up because they came to me the wrong way. See what I'm saying? You don't know if you might have to harm somebody where you go to say, or you might get some more time because they high. I've been through that. They tripping up their mind and think you somebody that you're not inside the prison. Are you?
Islam, praise Allah. That Dismo crib, it might be a medium, but it could get tight for you real quick.
That's right. Oh yeah, I forgot you was in Menard. Yeah, you know, you was on the hill and
that's
behind the wall, right?
Islam, and that segregation.
Listen,
I did days.
Listen,
I did days.
Listen.
When
The K2 is so bad in the prison, y'all.
Islam. The treatment is very degrading. Yeah, I did days without sheets. I had people on the gallery passing me shirts so I could not be freezing in that demonstration. When I made my trip to the segregation unit North 2. So yeah, when a brother's sharing with you, yeah, just because they're locked up, no, you are not safe at all. It is you and Allah in that demonstration.
Right.
And it can get real.
The
I want
belly
to
of
tell
the
y'all
beast.
something, right? The federal prison is so bad. I thought that K2 was just a jailhouse drug. It was like 2013. So I was in Allenwood, USP. It was a whole lot of Moors in the unit. So I had like the assistant grand chief and the chairman was like right next door. Then the whole Vanguard staff. It was just a lot of Moors. So I come out my cell and I see the chairman like pushing the door, his cell, like pushing it closed. And I can see somebody on the inside pushing from the inside. So I look and they don't look playful. So I go down more. What's going on? So when I look at it, it's nothing but Moors. I see about 5, 6 of the young in the cells. So I snatched the door open. They holding one of the little brothers down on the bed. So I'm like, man, what? As soon as I start thinking they hide, they drinking some hooch or something like, what's going on? So I say, man, I'm like, man. So when the little Mo see me, he reaches in his pocket, he pulls out some purple paper, like a little sheet of purple paper about this big, and he hands it to me. He's smoking this, and I'm like, y'all smoke some doggone paper. I walked out. I was convinced that they was trying to play some type of joke on me, and then after a while, I realized that people were smoking this paper, but it wasn't that. They smoking the paper. And the next thing you know, progressively it just got terrible. I see guys jumping.
That's right.
Over the tier. I see guys running down the unit with clothes on. You see guys, that's coming out. They recognize they selling. They go to the wrong unit. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, in a medium, and one guy had an episode on the yard. This European guy had an episode on the yard, and that down there, her name was Tracy. She had everybody call her by her first name. She decided she didn't want no K2 on her yard. And when I tell you that ain't no K2 on that yard, you could not get it in. I don't care what you try. You're not getting it in. And if you get suspected of trying to get it in, you go into the shoe and the joke ain't gonna never see you no more. Okay? Just like that, she had one episode, she saw the problem. And they seem like they can't get it right. But the reality is, they don't want to get it right. Because I'm going to show you, from that time in 2013 until now, you go inside of the prison, more you be deep. When I was at, I had 150 something registered members of the Moorish Science Temple of America on that yard. Okay? I get to other yards. Listen, members is joining the temple. They joining the temple. They looking for help. They the temple like it's a rehab. They trying to get this substance abuse issue, and the master teacher inside of the prison that can come to you and sit you down and and teach you about what to do when you get out of prison. They have found an escape, a coping mechanism in these synthetic drugs. So now they're not concerned anymore with passing on knowledge for the sake of passing on knowledge. They in the crowd, like the governor just said. So what we dealing with is accidental. Think about this. The United States of America, if you turn on any news channel, I don't care what news channel, what you listening to, they're going to talk about their competition with China. They're going to talk about where China is ranking and where, China might do this or China might do that. Is China going back Russia? Is China going back Ukraine? Is China going, one day come against the United States of America? When in reality, China and the United States of America are so linked and tied and married economically that they could never go to war with one another. All right, the two entities cannot exist without each other. So let's just bust that,
That's right.
dispel that more later on the podcast, because we don't have to get into this real relationship between the United States of America and China and this mad human drama, this movie that they keep on putting on these CNN, Fox News, and all. And let me tell y'all something. Don't just think that CNN is competing with Fox News. Fox News is only competing with CNN. No, they're competing with FX. Okay, so whoever can put the most excitement, whoever can put the most compelling story on television is the people who get the views. That's why they putting this mad human drama on your TV screen, and they putting indoctrinating you and got you thinking that they actually doing some work when they not. All right, we can put that out there like that. But why America is talking all this about China? How come these all in that sense America is flooding you? China is flooding the United States of America with fentanyl K2. That should be an act of war. That should be an act of war. They talk about all the time the opioid epidemic in this country. Okay, well, the opioid epidemic is being fed, and the major opioid is being furnished by China. And China don't have a fentanyl problem.
That's right.
They have an opioid epidemic in their country. 2 billion plus. Other people on the planet live in China, and they don't have a fentanyl problem. Fentanyl is being produced in the laboratory right there. How is that not an act of war? This okay too. They got our hallucinate, running around, they drilling with trucks, and they drilling. They got these big old guns, and they're killing one another. They hide the fight. They hide the fight off a drug that's being produced by this and being funded in this country. I mean, a drug is being produced by and being funded into our country.
Islam, more.
So, in the case, how is this not an act of war? How is
Islam
this not an act of
is
war?
definitely an act of war. Islam. Even looking at
They cast the state.
how is it not an act of war with the spell casting and the political witchcraft, when we look at not just the drugs that you purchase on the street, right? But it's the drugs that are being prescribed to you by the physicians. It's the drugs that they put in the water. It's the drugs that they put in the food. It's the drugs that they put in the chemtrails that they spray. So all no matter what it is that you're doing, your body is being induced with some type of foreign chemical to keep you addicted and high off of, whether it be the internet, whether it be the food, whether it be the prescription drugs, whether it be the drugs you're purchasing off the street. They're always putting this implement within your paradigm every day. So as we were speaking about very early on about how the prison systems are unionized, they've been unionized since 1865. That was what Lincoln did. He unionized he unionized everything. So this is why
Empress, you better not put that on. You better not put that on him, Lincoln. Those Moors gonna get you now.
Well, they're just gonna have to get, they're just gonna have to get this work, because right after 1865, when the so-called Emancipation Proclamation, right, that freed the Slavs, when that happened, you see a blast, like a big, huge blast of all these different unions that are being developed and created in the late 1800s and early 1900s, right? And this came off of the back of the Emancipation Proclamation. And so with the labor force being unionized, it is the same thing that the people don't really realize how much power and authority the people actually have. So if the people would unionize, and say, okay, and start. You can start off with your.
We the
You can start
people.
off with your
Listen.
city. You can start off with your states, your townships, so on and so forth, your counties, right? And you begin to unionize, not to go and you hold up picket sticks, but to actually say enough is enough.
That's
We,
right.
the people, we don't want this. We want clean air.
That's right.
We want water that is not being induced with you. Do y'all understand how much water through the city that you're actually paying for? You're paying the city
And
for
we don't
water,
use it.
and
That's
the
right.
water is full of methamphetamine.
Teach.
The water is full of Percocets.
Teach.
The water is full of, y'all don't believe it enough. The water is full of feces. And this is what you're paying for. You're paying to be introduced to all of these harmful chemicals. So it's going to take the people to say, look, enough is enough. We want clean air. We want better filtered water. Just think about how many people down in Jackson, Mississippi. In 2024, they got a water issue. It shouldn't be. What are you paying a water bill for?
No.
And it don't take that much to filter out and clean up the water. What are you paying local taxes
That's
for?
right.
So the people have to hold these people accountable. If you're going to have these representatives, going to have these people in leadership, you have to begin to hold them accountable for what they do. You have to unionize. If anybody is looking to learn how to start their own union, reach out to us, Maxim Enterprises LLC, and we'll be able to assist you with that idea.
Islam is government. There's no boards up. That's the thing. And like the thing that's preventing the people from coming together. The enemy is crafty. The enemy is crafty. So they not just throwing one direction at us. They throwing a multitude. Like they got a distraction. They got all type of spells. They got they casting spells on us to make us sleep. They casting spells on us to make us where we can't sleep. They got us exhausted. They got us chasing our tails, trying to figure out which way is up and which way is down. When what we need to do is let the peace be still, start listening to one another, start working with one. Like I said yesterday at the Holy Day meeting, and it was reiterated by all of the speakers. We need to stop slandering each other. We need to stop getting down bad on one another. And start listening. Start listening. Because we're the ones who are in this experience together. We are all in this experience together. If you're not right now suffering from some form of substance abuse problem, then somebody close to you is suffering from some form of substance abuse problem. If you're not right now suffering because you can't, and you're probably money that you could be saving or investing is probably being given to somebody close to you because they can't help themselves. So now you have to help them. Being prevented from teaching each other to fish, and we just got to keep on putting food on the tables for one another. All of these different distractions. This is the thing that the government is supposed to be doing. The government is supposed to be supplying away. All right, the government is not supposed to be running. It's supposed to be supplying away. All right, the government is supposed to make it a way for our young people to be educated. They're supposed to be making a way for our people to protect interest. When people invest in build businesses, then the government should create entities or employ entities to protect. All we got right now is these political warlocks and witches, these What's that chick name out there in Georgia? What's that name? Y'all know the one, the crazy mind grown out there in Georgia. This I can't even think of it right now, but this heifer is a doggone nut. And how is it that these type of people is being elected? How do we continuously find people in office who are not doing nothing? I made a video the other day, I posted it on TikTok, and I had, talking about Donald Trump, and I'm like, man, this Donald Trump crap needs to stop. And you have so many people who will come to the defense of this guy. They come to the defense of this guy. And I say to myself, well, this dude is a racist and an idiot both combined. And now he got all these doggone felonies. Now, here it is that people in my predicament or the predicament of some of the other people who've been on the panel speaking, who have felonies in our background, when we come and we go for employment, then they want to talk to us about, man, well, you got a criminal record. The third, this man is running for president. He's about to get the biggest job in the whole world. Do we understand? Plus, we give them all type of entertainment benefits. They have a free cost of living. Now, if we took out the money and just calculated the free cost of living, I don't think that people really understand what it means to give somebody a free cost of living. That means the children don't have to pay to go to school. Okay? So now I'm into office, and I have a son who graduates high school while I'm the president, and I spend 2 terms in high school, then now I can get a doctor. I can get a doctorate for my child or my children. I got a whole host of children. Okay? This is the part of what we pay the president of the United States of America. And then when you think about it's a certain type of crime here. You are the chief executive officer of the largest corporation on the planet, which means that you run a business. Now, how are we going to employ somebody who has never successfully ran a business in his entire life? All right, y'all. We're going to come to the end of this episode of Paradigm Shift Podcast, because I know and understand, being a student of psychology, our attention span is topic for next week. And I'm going to ask the same words. And I'm going to ask, anybody who got something to share, this out. That's what it's about. It's about getting the information out. So I'm going to ask that the more come back. You got something to say, Grant Governor? Islam. So with that being said, like it, share it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
unmute your
look,
mic.
you was cooking. It's can you hear? Yeah? No? Yeah. I think he got a delay too. Can y'all hear me? Islam. Okay. Islam, look, you was cooking, and in the chat, I actually put in there, the next time we come on, let's look at that Papa Perk 30. In that song there, in the last 2 years, they've been pushing Perk 30s in the community. And the Perk 30s, from what I found out from the young sisters in the community, is nothing but fentanyl. So I had a brother who was in Chicago, out south, one of the vice lords, and he was a pill, check this out. He was considered as a pill popping animal. He popped 1 Percocet 30, 6.6, 240, heart exploded. Okay? These Perk 30s, again, they're blue pills, and you can actually Google and find out that it's nothing but fentanyl. The brothers inside the prison are telling me about these Percocet 30s. Okay? They're doing some kind of thing with the envelopes or something, and you know what I'm saying? and they're getting high from that strip of the stamp or the envelope inside of the prison. So they're still tripping out. So we need to hit these issues because you're thinking of just because the brother's been gone 6, 8, 10, 20 years that he or she is clean, not knowing that they loaded with all kind of fentanyl and all kind of other prescribed medicine. Okay?
That's
But
right.
you hit on some things, brother. Definitely got to go over it and know that you put it for time right now. When you spoke about track war, I thought about those in Dearborn, Michigan. I can remember when they actually started taking off in Dearborn, Michigan in success. Google Dearborn, Michigan, and you see those from like Pakistan, the Islamic Society went out there and made their own community. It was building. I mean, they had the gas stations, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But guess what they did to their children? Talking about the government. And this is what they were saying when I was a boy. They killing them with prescribed pills. Grandma's pills, Big Mama's pills. And now they mix that with fentanyl or other synthetic drugs. With, so they got our people on fentanyl, meth. They got our brothers in the Islamic Society, and etc. on pills, right? For every nationality, they got something for he or she. So we got to speak out against it because it's really hitting our children. They focusing on our babies, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the young.
As a matter of fact, you know what? You know what, Sheik? Part about it, Grand Sheik. This subject right here, this topic, we're gonna wait till next Saturday to revisit this. Right? We're gonna come back this week. We're gonna do a bonus episode to continue this one right here. And we're gonna talk about what's in some of these drugs. We're gonna talk about the side long-term effects because there are long-term to using these drugs, you know. And I want to get that out there for the people. So like it, share it. You know what I'm saying? I say like it, share it with your people. Man, let your people, you know, try to shift their paradigm. We need to change the way we think. Peace and love. It was an honor to be here.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Islam.